Spider sense makes Homelander's speed useless. Homelander's whole threat is that nobody sees him coming. He moves faster than a human eye can track, lands a hit before the brain even registers movement. That doesn't work on Peter Parker. Spider sense isn't reflexes, it's precognition. A warning that fires before the danger even fully commits to the attack. Fans point out this is the exact ability that lets Spider-Man dodge bullets, catch punches from guys stronger than him, and react to threats his body technically shouldn't be fast enough to process. Homelander's speed only matters if the target reacts after the attack starts. Peter reacts before it does. Supporters of this theory bring up how Spider-Man has tagged speedsters and precognitive fighters in the comics specifically because his power isn't about matching speed. It's about never being surprised, which means the one thing that makes Homelander terrifying to literally everyone else in his universe just stops working the second Peter shows up. Fans also bring up the psychological side of this. Homelander doesn't just rely on speed to win fights, he relies on speed to control the room. Every conversation he has is built around the threat that he could end it instantly if he wanted to. Take that threat away, and the dynamic flips before either of them throws a single punch. Homelander cannot scare Peter Parker. Homelander's entire method is fear. Smile first, threaten quietly, let people imagine what happens if they push back. It works on Vought executives, on the Seven, on the government. The theory says it wouldn't land on Peter at all. This is a kid who's watched Uncle Ben die in his arms. Watched Gwen Stacy die because he was half a second too slow. Fought Venom, the Green Goblin, entire alternate versions of himself falling apart in real time. Fans point out Peter's baseline for trauma is already higher than almost anyone Homelander's ever tried to intimidate. Homelander needs the target to believe he has something left to lose that Homelander can take. Peter's already lost the version of that fight before, repeatedly. Supporters argue that's what actually unsettles Homelander in this matchup, not the powers, the complete absence of flinch. Vought has no category for Peter Parker. Every hero in this universe gets built by Vought. Compound V, PR training, backstory packaging, merchandising, built around a persona the company controls from day one. Peter doesn't fit anywhere in that system. The theory points out his powers come from a radioactive spider bite, not injection, not lab origin, not anything Vought scientists have a file on. No contract, no approved narrative, no focus group deciding what his catchphrase should be. Fans say that's the real problem for Vought. Not his strength, his paperwork. A hero the company can't explain is a hero the company can't sell. And a hero they can't sell is a hero they can't control. Some fans go further, pointing out Vaught's entire business model depends on every super having a traceable origin they can spin. Peter breaks that model just by existing. There's no lab to credit, no division to promote, no anniversary event to schedule around his debut. The theory says a hero who can't be traced back to a Vought product line isn't just an outlier in their system. He's a walking argument that the system was never necessary in the first place. Spider-Man is the real Webweaver. Here's the detail most casual viewers miss. The Boys already has a Spider-Man knockoff. His name is Webweaver, and the comics use him as a joke. A washed-up, morally hollow parody riding on stolen web-slinger aesthetics without any of the substance underneath. The theory says dropping the actual Spider-Man into this universe turns Webweaver into instant commentary. Fans point out Webweaver exists specifically to mock the idea of a pure hero archetype surviving inside Vought's machine. He's proof the concept gets corrupted eventually. Peter showing up doesn't just embarrass Webweaver's design, it undercuts the entire joke, because the joke only works if a real uncorrupted version could never exist in this world. Supporters say that's the accidental point of the theory. Spider-Man isn't a crossover gag here, he's the answer to a question the comics already asked and assumed was impossible. Spider-Man makes Vaught's heroes look fake. Every hero fight in this universe is choreography. Staged rescues, pre-approved talking points, cameras positioned before the crisis even happens. The theory says Peter breaks that illusion instantly, just by doing things the normal way. Fans point to how Spider-Man operates without contracts, without a media team, without checking optics before saving someone. He shows up because someone's in danger, not because a PR division greenlit the appearance. Put him next to A-Train's performative rescues or Homelander's camera-ready saves, and the difference isn't subtle. Vaught's heroics start looking like exactly what they are: marketing wearing a cape. Supporters argue this is the quieter threat Peter poses, not violence. Contrast: Butcher would hate Spider-Man until Peter saves someone for free. Butcher's rule is simple: every super is a threat waiting to happen. Doesn't matter how they present themselves. Power plus ego eventually breaks bad. The theory says Peter would get lumped into that automatically. Same assumption, same suspicion, maybe worse, given the mask and the vigilante behavior Butcher already associates with chaos. Then fans point out the one thing that could crack that: Peter saving someone with absolutely nothing to gain. No cameras, no thank you tour, no leverage afterward. Butcher's hatred isn't really about powers, it's about supers using people. The theory argues that's the loophole. A hero who helps and walks away without collecting anything breaks Butcher's entire framework for how powered people behave. Doesn't mean he trusts Peter, just means for once, Butcher doesn't have a script for what he's looking at. Spider-Man's mercy makes Butcher look like the villain. Butcher's methods are brutal by design. Kill first, justify later, treat every super like a bomb that hasn't gone off yet. The theory says putting Spider-Man in the same frame exposes exactly how far Butcher's gone. Peter's entire code is built around restraint. Fans point out he's had chances to kill Green Goblin, Venom, dozens of enemies who deserved it by any reasonable definition, and he consistently doesn't. Not because he's naive, because the entire character exists to prove that responsibility means something even when it's inconvenient. Standing next to that, Butcher's kill everything approach doesn't read as necessary anymore. It reads as a choice. Supporters argue that's the uncomfortable part of this matchup. Peter doesn't have to call Butcher out. He just has to keep being himself. Compout V cannot explain Spider-Man. Vought scientists have spent decades reverse engineering every kind of power in this universe. Compound V. Genetic tampering. Lab-built origin stories for every hero on the roster. The theory says Peter's biology would break their entire model instantly. Fans point out his powers trace back to one radioactive spider bite. No injected serum, no corporate formula, nothing to synthesize, replicate, or dose out to the next test subject, which means every scan Vought runs comes back with the same answer. Unrepeatable, supporters argue that's more dangerous to the company than any fight Peter could win. Vought's power depends on being able to manufacture its own gods. Peter's proof that at least one of them can't be made. Fans point out that's a problem money can't fix either. Vought can throw a research budget at almost anything. They can't throw a budget at a bite that already happened, in a lab that doesn't exist, to a kid nobody at the company has ever met. Spider-Man destroys Vought without throwing the first punch. Every threat Vaught's ever faced gets neutralized the same way. Buy them, discredit them, or bury them in a narrative the company controls. The theory says none of that works on Peter. Fans point out he doesn't want a Vought contract, doesn't care about the fame, and has zero interest in being managed by anyone. There's no leverage to find because there's nothing he's chasing that Vought can offer him. He just keeps saving people, consistently. Without asking for credit, supporters argue that's the actual nightmare scenario for the company. Not a fight they could lose, a hero they can't buy,